The Lover by Marguerite Duras, page 82. One day, he's not there, outside the high school. The driver's alone, in the black car. He says the father's ill and the young master's gone back to Sadek. He, the driver, has been told to stay in Saigon to take me to school and back again, to the boarding house. The young master came back after a few days. Again, he was there in the back of the black car, his face averted, so as not to see people looking at him. Still afraid. We kissed, without a word. Kissed there, outside the school. We'd forgotten. While we kissed, he wept. His father was going to live. His last hope was vanishing. He'd asked him, implored him, to let him keep me with him, close to him. He told him he must understand, must have known a passion like this himself at least once in his long life. It couldn't be otherwise. He'd begged him to let him have his turn at living just once. This passion, this madness, this infatuation with the little white girl. He asked him to give him time to love her a while longer before sending her away to France. Let him have her a little longer, another year perhaps, because it wasn't possible for him to give up this love yet. It was too new, too strong still, too much in its first violence. It was too terrible for him to part yet from her body, especially since, as he the father knew, it could never happen again. The father said he'd sooner see him dead. We bathed together in the cool water from the jars. We kissed, we wept. Again, it was on to death, but this time, already. The pleasure it gave was inconsolable. And then I told him not to have any regrets. I reminded him of what he'd said, that I'd go away from everywhere, that I wasn't responsible for what I did. He said he didn't mind even that now. Nothing counted anymore. Then I said I agreed with his father, that I refused to stay with him. I didn't give any reasons. It's one of the long avenues in Vinh Long that led down to the Mekong. It's always deserted in the evening. That evening, like most evenings, the electricity breaks down. That's what starts it all off. As soon as I reach the street and the gate shuts behind me, the lights go off. I run. I run because I'm afraid of the dark. I run faster and faster. And suddenly, I think I hear running behind me. And suddenly I'm sure that someone's after me. Still running, I look around, and I see. It's a very tall woman, very thin as death, laughing and running. She's barefoot, and she's running after me to catch me. I recognize her. She's the local lunatic, the mad woman of Vinh Long. I hear her for the first time. She talks at night. During the day she sleeps, often here in the avenue, outside the garden. She runs, shouting in a language I don't understand. My fear is so great, I can't call out. I must be 8 years old. I can hear her shrieks of laughter and cries of delight. She's certainly playing with me. My memory is of a central fear. To say it's beyond my understanding, beyond my strength, is inadequate. What's sure is the memory of my whole being's certainty that if the woman touches me, even lightly, with her hand, I too will enter into a state much worse than death, the state of madness. I managed to get into the neighbor's garden, as far as the house. I run up the steps and fall in the doorway. For several days, I can't say anything at all about what happened. Quite late in life, I'm still afraid of seeing a certain state of my mother's. I still don't name it. Get so much worse that she'll have to be parted from her children. I believe it will be up to me to recognize the time when it comes, not my brothers, because my brothers wouldn't be able to judge. It was a few months before our final parting, in Saigon, late one evening. We were on the big terrace of the house, en route Estard. Doe was there. I looked at my mother. I could hardly recognize her. And then, in a kind of sudden vanishing, a sudden fall, I all at once couldn't recognize her at all. There, suddenly, close to me, was someone sitting in my mother's place, who wasn't my mother, who looked like her but who had never been her. She looked rather blank. She was gazing at the garden, a certain point in the garden. It looked as if she was watching for something just about to happen, of which I could see nothing. There was a youthfulness about her features, her expression, a happiness, which she was repressing out of what must have been habitual reticence. She was beautiful. Doe was beside her. Doe seemed not to have noticed anything. My terror didn't come from what I've just said about her face, her look of happiness, her beauty. It came from the fact that she was sitting just where my mother had been sitting when the substitution took place. From the fact that I knew no one else was there in her place. But that identity, irreplaceable by any other, had disappeared, and I was powerless to make it come back, make it start to come back. There was no longer anything there to inhabit her image. I went mad, in full possession of my senses. Just long enough to cry out, I did cry out. A faint cry, a call for help, to crack the ice in which the whole scene was fatally freezing. My mother turned her head. For me, the whole town is inhabited by the beggar woman in the road, and all the beggar women of the towns, the rice fields, the tracks bordering Siam, the banks of the Mekong. For me, the beggar woman who frightened me is inhabited by them. She comes from everywhere. She always ends up in Calcutta, wherever she started out from. She always slept in the shade of the cinnamon apple trees in the playground. And always, my mother has been there beside her, tending her foot, eaten up with maggots and covered with flies. Beside her, the little girl in the story. She's carried her 2,000 kilometers. She's had enough of her, wants to give her away. Go on, take her. No more children, no more child. All dead or thrown away. It amounts to a lot after a whole life. The one asleep under the cinnamon apple trees isn't yet dead. She's the one who lived longest. She'll die inside the house, in a lace dress. She'll be mourned. She's on the banks of the rice fields, on the other side of the track, shouting and laughing at the top of her voice. She has a golden laugh, fit to wake the dead, to wake anyone who listens to children's laughter. She stays outside the bungalow for days and days. There are white people in the bungalow. She remembers they give food to beggars. And then one day, lo and behold, she wakes at daybreak and starts to walk. One day she goes, who can tell why? She turns off toward the mountains, goes up through the forest, follows the paths running along the tops of the mountains of Siam, having perhaps seen a yellow and green sky on the other side of the plain, She crosses over. At last begins to descend to the sea. With her great, gaunt steps, she descends the slopes of the forest. On, on. They are forests full of pestilence, regions of great heat. There's no healthy wind from the sea. There's the stagnant din of mosquitoes, dead children, rain every day. And then here are the deltas, the biggest deltas in the world, made of black slime, stretching toward Chittagong. She's left the tracks, the forests, the tea roads, the red suns behind, and she goes forward over the estuary of the deltas. She goes in the same direction as the world, toward the engulfing, always distant east. One day, she comes face to face with the sea. She lets out a cry, laughs her miraculous bird-like coo. Because of her laugh, she finds a junk in Chittagong. The fishermen are willing to take her. She crosses with them, the Bay of Bengal. Then she starts to be seen near the rubbish dumps on the outskirts of Calcutta. And then she's lost sight of. And then later found again behind the French embassy in the same city. She sleeps in a garden replete with endless food. She's there during the night, then in the Ganges at sunrise, always laughing, mocking. She doesn't go on this time. Here she can eat, sleep. It's quiet at night. She stays there in the garden with the oleanders. One day I come, pass by. I'm 17. It's the English Quarter, the Embassy Gardens, the monsoon season. The tennis courts are deserted. Along the Ganges, the lepers laugh. We're stopping over in Calcutta. The boat broke down. We're visiting the town to pass the time. We leave the following evening. 15 and a half. The news spreads fast in Sadek. The clothes she wears are enough to show. The mother has no idea, and none about how to bring up a daughter. Poor child. Don't tell me that hat's innocent, or the lipstick. It all means something. It's not innocent. It means something. It's to attract attention, money. The brothers are layabouts. They say it's a Chinese, the son of the millionaire, the villa in Mekong, with the blue tiles. And even he, instead of thinking himself honored, doesn't want her for his son. A family of white layabouts.